Hello, 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 and welcome to Marriage Cast. If this is your first time, welcome back to the friends who have been rolling with me for months now. I hope you are all doing well. It is summertime, and the title of this is Look Away This Summer. Look Away. And before I continue, I will read a Bible verse in Luke chapter 21, verse 36. Jesus said this to his disciples: Keep alert at all times and pray that you might be strong enough to escape these coming horrors and stand before the Son of Man. So, for this summer, I want to give you a practical way to keep alert at all time and to pray. And this happened after a conversation I had with my husband a couple of weeks ago. We were chatting after dinner. Then he goes, I know why I was feeling afraid and sad. And I knew the story. Then he told me why that was happening to him. Then he continued by saying, we really have to stay vigilant and watchful, in our thoughts and in our lives. We really have to stay alert. To which I replied, yes, we have to. During the pandemic, I was feeling like I really have to be watchful, careful with my thoughts, and it's almost like every year there is another level of devotion that I need to have with my thinking and being more watchful. So we are talking about this and bonding over this conversation. Then my husband started talking about the Roman Empire. He's fascinated with war movies and the Roman Empire, and he was telling me that the majority of wars throughout history have been won through surprised attacks. So rarely will two armies go at it back and forth and one army will win or kill everybody else from the enemy camp. But for the majority, for the most part, there will be a surprise attack when that army expected the least. Then the the enemy army will win the war like that. So we're talking about warfare. Then after our conversation, I was like, you know what? As homework, I just need to watch a war movie or war documentary. And I settled on a documentary on the Roman Empire. I'm watching this documentary. It's about Marcus Aurelius, who was the emperor of Rome. He had a son, Commodus, and he was grooming his son to become the next emperor. And according to the commentators of this documentary, prior to Marcus Aurelius, most emperors were general of armies that went to war, they fought and they won against the enemy army, and that's how they became emperors. But for whatever reasons, Marcus Aurelius wanted to do things differently, and he was grooming his son to inherit the the empire. So I'm watching this documentary, everything is going well. I don't know, man, not even 10 minutes in, Commodus, the son, is naked with women. And as I'm watching this, I felt strongly in my spirit to look away while this sexual sin is happening. So I looked away, but I was still able to listen to the commentator. Then I kept watching. Maybe 8 minutes later, another scene of the same guy, nudity in the documentary. Again, strongly look away. Anyway, I managed to finish the first episode, and when I was just reflecting on that, I was reminded of my conversation with my husband about being very careful and vigilant and watch at all times, right? Not to be surprised by the enemy. And so when I was praying for this, podcast, I was like, Lord, what do I share? It's not like I don't have anything to share, but I always pray, like, for the time being, for now, like, what do you want me to share, Lord? And He reminded me of this, and here we are. I was thinking about soldiers in Canada and, let's say, in North America are not like the soldiers in the Middle East, in the Ukraine, right? The soldiers over there are way more vigilant and watchful of where they go, where they eat, where they sleep, who they hang out with, because they are at war. Soldiers here are probably acting like everybody else. There's no war, like in the physical life, there's no war. But where people like soldiers are in Israel, for example, in the Ukraine, life is different over there. They are watchful of everything. And I just had that urge in my spirit, like, we need to stay watchful. Yes, it's summertime, it's beautiful, and we will see more skin, right? Like, because it's hot, it's warm, people wear less clothes, and we really have to be watchful, so that we can escape, right, the present temptation of lust. In my previous episode of my testimony, I shared there how in 2021 God revealed to me the adultery in the church, right? And I have a sense that He's leading me a little deeper into that many Christian couples find themselves hooked. Some of them are actually having affairs, but many have affairs in their minds. And one of the practical ways, there are many ways, but one of the ways is to look away. And the I think the Holy Spirit was showing this to me too. When if you're a man driving down the street and you see a woman, because it's summertime, there's a lot of skin that she's showing. You saw that if you go back and look again for the second time and the third time, and taking a video in your mind so you can replay later as a fantasy, you are in sin, you have conceived sin, and if it hasn't given birth to a physical adultery, it's there in your mind, and it will, maybe not now, but eventually it will give birth to something you don't want. Or if you are a woman and you are at the beach and you see something, you were not looking for it, but if you go back and look again, now you are conceiving that sin in your mind. And for my listeners who don't have any sexual temptation, please bear with us for this time, right? I just want to speak to those that are struggling sexually, and there's a lot, way more men, but I saw some women too struggling with this. And for myself, having that past, I am very, very watchful of what I watch, who I hang out with. I have gone to the point where in relationships, if I sense lustful, flirtatious behaviors, I end friendships. I distance myself, because I'm like, I don't want to go there in my mind. I don't flirt with people's husbands. I don't flirt with men, married or single. I just don't do that. And I remember having friends a while ago. They were like, "You're not sinning. It's fun. It's fun to flirt with other people." And the Holy Spirit in me was strongly like, "You do not flirt. Like, I do not engage in those behaviors, because that's usually how the seed is planted. That's how it starts." Right now, you're flirting with this person, you have a link that you have created with this person. And for some people, it goes for months like that, right? And eventually, you have adultery. And it's like, how do we have this in church? It's because we think somehow we are stronger than we are. And I'm here to encourage you to stay away, to look away this summer. Don't go back and look again. It's not like the devil goes at the beach and kumbaya and leave us alone because it's summertime. No, we need to stay watchful at all times. Everywhere you go, just remember soldiers who are at war are very careful with what they eat, who they eat with, who they hang out with, where they sleep. So that's how we are out to live our lives as Christians. And it's not like God doesn't give us rest, He gives us rest. We have times where we rest, but for the most part, we have to look away. Don't go back and look to again to that thing that you saw that has the potential to put you in trouble. So look away this summer. God bless you. Bye.